welcome to the Lessons from the Bench podcast. I am your host, Willinette Drayton, and I am so elated that you are here with me on today. Let's get into the episode, shall we? Hello, and welcome to the Lessons from the Bench podcast. I am your host, Willinette Drayton, and I am so happy that you are here with me on today. First, I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who downloaded the episodes on last week. I want to say thank you to everyone who sent encouraging words in support of the podcast. It really meant a lot to me, and I appreciate you. Listen, I will not be before you long. I just want to share something with you that took place just a few months ago. Actually, I want to say about 4 months ago when this happened. So I have a question. Have you ever prayed the prayer, Lord, show me myself? How many of you have prayed that prayer, Lord, show me myself? I would love for you to respond to the question, have you ever asked the Lord to show you yourself? Show me myself, Lord. Show me myself. If you find anything within me that's not like you, take it away. Yeah, that was my prayer. And he did that. Just know that he will do it. So when you pray that prayer, he will definitely oblige you. And not only that, you better be ready. You better be ready for what comes next. Something's coming. And when he will definitely show you yourself. So, the jig is up. And this is what the Lord showed me. I am a perfectionist. Yep. I am a perfectionist. I was unaware of the fact that I was a perfectionist. I had a meltdown one day when I was recording an episode, and my daughter had come out of her room, and I heard the door slam. Well, she said she didn't slam the door. She said she closed the door. She didn't slam it. But in the mic, it sounded like she slammed the door. So with that happening, during my recording, of course, I didn't want that on my recording, so I scratched the whole thing. And so I was very upset about it. I blew a gasket. Like I did the most over, this whole door situation. And then I did it again. And I found something else about it that I just simply did not like. Like, I didn't like it, so I didn't use it. Scratched it. Went to do it a third time. And I got 45 minutes in. And at the end of the episode, there was a blunder. And I was like, I can't do anything with this, and it was so small. I mean, so small to the point that you guys may not have even heard it, but because it was there, it aggravated me. It irritated me to no end, and I scratched it. So that's when my daughter, she came in the room and she was like, Mom, things aren't going to be perfect all the time. I didn't want to hear that. I did not want to hear that things weren't going to be perfect all the time because in my mind, this is what you strive for. You have to be at this optimal level in everything that you do. Otherwise, why are you doing it? So let's raise the vibration. Let's do more, 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 more. And that's when I heard the Lord tell me to stop. Stop. I stopped right in my tracks and I sat down and I packed everything up. I cut everything off and I sat there and I began to receive a download of information from the Lord about perfectionism and how it has engulfed my life, how it's been present all of my life, and how it shows up in my life. So this was a tough pill to swallow. Like, I was like sitting there arrested. When I say arrested, arrested, sitting there arrested. And he began to talk to me and show me things. I saw myself. And I could not believe that that was me. I couldn't believe that I was operating out of that spirit of perfectionism. So, perfectionism, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is the fact of liking things perfectly and not being satisfied with anything less. The fact of liking things perfectly and not being satisfied with anything less than perfection is unacceptable. And that's pretty much sums up, my perspective, my attitude toward a lot of things. And wow, I saw myself operating in perfectionism at home and in the workplace. And so I'm going to share with you how it shows up in my life on the home front. And this is the part that really brought tears to my eyes because my daughter, she gets the most hits when it comes down to the whole perfectionism thing. She's there. She's here with me all the time, and I want her to do things a certain way. I want her to do things the way that I do them. And when she doesn't have that same attitude towards getting things done, it bothers me. Like, it really bothers me. I should not expect her to do things the way I would do them. And she's an individual. She cleans well. She cleans well enough. She does a good job. She's a good girl. But when I come home and something isn't done the way I would do it, the way I expect it to be done in my mind, I want you to organize the cabinets when you put food away. I want you to sit the silverware inside of the You know, the little thing, the dish thing, how you sit, some people sit their forks down, some people sit it right side up. You know, I want it right side up. I don't want it down. I want it right side up. And so everything, I pick. Nothing is ever right. There is nothing is ever enough. And I realized that I was doing this to my daughter. And I felt so bad because I can only imagine how she feels because it happened to me when I was younger. Like, my mom did the same thing to me. And I could not believe that I was doing that to my baby. Like, no, no, I didn't do that. No, 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 no. Oh, I was. I remember one time we had a carpet and she told me that, oh, look, I vacuumed the living room and I didn't see any carpet lines. So you must didn't do that. Because if you vacuum the floor, there should be carpet lines. You know, I like to, you know, do it a certain way. I want to see the carpet lines. It has to be this way and it should go that way. And everything has to be perfect. But she was trying, and her trying just wasn't enough. And so I know what that's like. So I felt so bad because I actually did that. And I had to go back and ask for forgiveness. I had to ask my daughter to forgive me for that. And we had a long conversation. You know, I realized that this happened to me when I was young. Uh, I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel like I could do enough for my mom. I didn't feel like I could make her smile the way others did. Um, and so that stuck with me for a very long time. I mean, all of my life, I've been jumping through this hoop. I've been do when I would never be able to obtain that level of perfection. The one thing that I haven't done is compared my daughter to other children. I was compared to other children, and that really bothered me. It stuck with me for many, many years, and that was a tough place to be in. But just knowing that I hurt my baby, you know, and knowing that I too have been hurt and I too have to go back to that place where I received the trauma and deal with the trauma from that level. And I would never thought that perfectionism was, you know, tied to fear and being unseen and not feeling validated when you were younger. I did not know that I didn't get all that I was supposed to receive as a kid, you know, and how it just moved its way through my adulthood, my whole life. And so there have been relationships and with people that I have mishandled because of my ignorance to a lot of things that were deep seated. Like I was seeking healing. I've been seeking healing for a very long time. And, you know, wanting to change, wanting to be a better person, knowing that something's going on, just couldn't quite put my finger on it. But I've been praying for God to show me myself, and He is so gracious to break this thing down in chunks because I believe that if God would have just laid it all out on the table, man, I would still be sitting there crying. But yeah, I apologized to my daughter, and I just saw how exhausting it's been down through the years, even at the workplace, where I know that I done the most. And I remember the times when I would be tired and wanting to go home. You know how you just can't wait until 5 o'clock. And then my relief wouldn't show up, and the manager's like, can you stay? And I want to say, no, I'm tired. My body's saying, girl, go home and go to bed. But because I wanted to be accepted, I wanted to appear to be that perfect employee. I wanted to be employee of the month, even though they didn't even have the program. But I just wanted this certain image. I said yes to a lot of things. I was a yes woman. I said yes to a lot of things that I should have said no to. But I was all over the place. I was doing all the things, jumping through the hoops. I mean, oh my goodness, kissing the babies and everything. I was all over the place doing everything and super duper, just wanting to be perfect, even in that space. And I remember one time a coworker said to me, "Oh, you're just Miss Perfect. Nothing happens to you. You're just Miss Perfect." And I was like, I kind of was, taken back by her saying that. Like, why is she saying that? Like it's a bad thing. I'm just doing a good job. And why is that a bad thing for doing a good job? But I didn't know how I was coming off, in the face of other people. I didn't know how the people around me was feeling. So yeah, I can bet that it's pretty off putting if you're around with someone who is always, just doing things just over the top. Like people can see through that. People can see when you are showboating and when you just doing the most, you just trying to be seen. People see through that. They can sniff that out. I did not know that I was that person. So that was tough. It was tough, but I had to sit with it. And I'm glad that I took the time to allow God to help me navigate through everything, because I had to first come to a place of forgiveness with my mother. My dad wasn't there. My dad, he left when I was 2 years old. So it was just my mom and my siblings. And my mom went through a lot of things. I was about to say a lot of stuff, but my mom went through a lot of things. And I had to look at her as a woman and not just as my mother. And she didn't receive what she needed when she was a girl. She did not. She did not. She did not. And so, she grew up. She she left the city, the town she was in search of love with her husband, and they migrated to Washington D.C. and she lived a life, began her life with this man, and things didn't go as planned. And I believe after that, my mom went on a downward spiral. I believe she just went on a downward spiral. And she didn't have everything that she needed. And so she didn't have much to give. And I didn't have everything I needed. So I didn't have much to give. I wanted to be different than my mom. I wanted my daughter and I to have a different relationship, and we do. My daughter can talk to me about absolutely anything. She could come to me and talk to me about anything, but that piece of being controlling, that piece of being very critical, that piece of, expecting something that is impossible, setting that bar so high that it's unreachable. I couldn't even do it. So why am I doing this to her? It's so unfair. And I ask God to forgive me. I'm asking my daughter to forgive me. And I'm forgiving my mother at the same time. So I am processing a lot. I called coworkers that I know that I rubbed the wrong way, that I offended, and talked to them, people that maybe I didn't. I called family members and just apologized to everybody, because once I realized that I had been operating like that, oh my goodness, the ugly venom that that was spewed. I don't know who it all touched, but I just know that it was ugly. And I had to deal with it. I had to deal with it. I mishandled a lot of people. A lot of people walked away. And sometimes when people drop off, you think that they left because, it was them. It's going to be their loss. Oh my goodness. What if God was saving them from you? What if, So I don't want to ever think that it's always the other person. I want to know my part in the demise of relationships. And I saw myself. And it was not pretty. I saw it and it wasn't pretty. And so now I have, I'm walking it out, right? I'm walking it out now. I am dealing with the fact that I'm not perfect and that things don't always have to be perfect. I am dealing with that. I am still uh asking God to help me with the whole perfectionist thing, because when you're used to doing something a certain way for such a long time, it takes a long time to break those old habits and patterns and, mindsets. It takes a long time for that to happen, but you can work at it. You can work at it, but for it to be second nature, you have to work that muscle, So I am developing the attitude of, hey, it's just going to have to be enough. It's just going to have to be enough. And I want to say that it is so freeing to be in this space right now. Like, I feel free. I don't feel like I have to live up to any expectation of anyone, because I felt like I did. That I felt like, I was under this microscope, so I had to be this version of myself. But no, 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 no. God isn't expecting me to be perfect. And so I'm not going to hold that standard over my own head. Like, I'm going to give what I have. I'm going to give from the place that I have. And I didn't have much. When you look at it, I didn't have much. I was operating out of pain, out of turmoil. I was done, tired. I was busted, I was disgusted, all the things. And yeah, I was done. And I had to surrender. I had to surrender to the process of healing my self inflicted wounds. I was spinning. I was spinning. I remember coming home after work and going over each human interaction that I had with people. You know, did I say this the right way? Oh, did I offend this person? Oh my goodness, she didn't text back yet. I wonder, did she take what I said the wrong way in a text? Oh my goodness, just worried about everything, how people saw me, my appearance, my clothes, my hair. Oh my goodness. I remember one day I was putting on makeup and I was making that wing with the liquid eyeliner. So one of my wings was, it wasn't identical, of course. It wasn't identical. And uh, I wanted this wing to be identical. So I would just go and when it wasn't identical, change it again. Just keep going at, trying to make this wing perfect. And I mean, I was in the mirror all but 20 minutes to get something that tiny bit better than the one before. I mean, no one is looking at you that hard, miss. First of all, no one's looking at that hard. Who would notice that the wing wasn't identical? And I know there are people who check you out, but I mean, it really was almost perfect. But that's what I wanted. It had to be perfect. I wasted time on a wing. Like, one was good, the other one, she was. And just because it wasn't that little 1% that wasn't right, it caused me to keep doing it over and over and over again until I got it perfect. And it's not that serious. It should not have been that serious. So I struggle with that. I struggle with perfectionism. Yeah, I did not know. And now I know. Now I know. So I know that you probably want to know what I'm doing to combat this. First, I gave it to God. I gave it to God and I asked God to help me navigate through this process. Like I said, I need help with that. So He is helping me. I I returned to therapy. I will be reaching out to my counselor now because I have a biblical counselor. She's amazing. She talks to you. She comes straight out of the Bible, and it's a beautiful thing. And she's just amazing. I can't say anything else about her, but she's amazing, and she will get you right. So I will be participating in that. Also, I'm going to be kind to myself. Really take my time with myself to be gracious, to be compassionate to myself, to treat myself with kindness. And that is something that I never did. I never treated myself with kindness. I didn't have self love. So I'm learning these things. I'm embracing, self love, and also make room for errors. I have to make room for errors. Like, I remember not doing that. I remember being so uptight about coloring outside the lines. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, I hate when my daughter would color outside the lines. That would make me burn up. Like, why would you do that? You have to, color inside the lines, but why is it such a big deal? Why is it such a big deal? So I have to let that go. I have to let that grow. I have to make room for errors. And I also have to embrace the fact that I am 100% human. I am 100% human and I am 100% flawed. Like, there is nothing perfect about me. Nothing perfect about me. And I am enough. I am enough. And I can't stress it enough how we have to believe that where we are right now is where we're supposed to be. What you're feeling right now is what you're supposed to be feeling. And if you don't like where you are, if you want to see change, you have to participate in your own healing. Like, God showing me that, I could have walked away and said, you know what? I don't want to deal with this part. It's kind of ugly. It's kind of ugly. I don't want to deal with this part. I want to skip to something else. Can we just talk about weight loss? Can we talk about weight loss, Lord? Because, I'm drinking more water and, I'm doing this and I'm doing all the things for that. Can we just stick to the weight loss part? I want to lose 50 pounds. Can we stick to that? No, no, no. He showed me myself something that was deep seated. And now it's uprooted because guess what? The jig is up. He exposed the thing. And so I am grateful for the exposure. And I'm also grateful for the mind to call a thing and let it happen. And, just move with God. Just move with God. God does not expect us to be perfect. I believe as a Christian, I should do things with excellence and do my best, but it's not the same as perfectionism. It's not the same. I can't expect my daughter to be perfect. I can't expect the people around me to be perfect. I have to stop that. I have to love on a different level. Love the way God loves. See myself the way God sees myself. See other people through God's eyes. That is my prayer. To see other people through God's eyes, because I am the ghost queen. I will write someone off and never look back. And I know that I made mistakes. I know that I ghost. And I know I hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. You hear that all the time. And it's like, oh, that cliche. No, it's a real thing. Hurt people hurt people. I've hurt people. And I am sorry for what I have done. I am sorry. I am sorry. But I believe that I have all that I need and that I am more than enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. And it's freeing to be able to say that. It feels good to be able to go to work and not turn something in on time and not beat yourself up. It really is. It's freeing to, and I'm not saying purposely just don't, do things and don't, try to do a good job at work or, try to be a good mom. I'm just saying that when you don't reach this level of perfectionism, it's unrealistic. But when you set this bar so high that you can't even do it, like, it don't get caught up in it. There's a difference between um, perfectionism and having high standards. If when you have a high standard and you don't uh, meet the mark, you just you don't trip off the outcome. You're like, oh, I wish this would have happened this way. But when you are, operating in perfectionism and something doesn't go right, you internalize that thing like it crushes you. And so I've lived with the crushing of, not being good enough and, all those things. So yeah, I have to depend on God. I had to depend on God to help me deal with the shame of it all. And I just believe that somebody that I'm listening to right now may be going through the same thing. There's background noise right now. Actually, the trash man is outside my window while I'm recording this. He's doing his job. And this is the time that I chose. It's 7:04 a.m. This is the time I chose to record. And he's doing his job. And yes, the noise is happening, but guess what? Guess who's not tripping? Guess who is not bothered by the sound of the trash man out there doing his job? It's me. I am not bothered. And I'm going to still upload this episode. I am going to share it with you and praying that you share it with someone. No, not anymore. Not anymore. The jig is up. No more shame. No more pretending to be okay when I'm not okay. No more. And I just want to know, do you feel the same way? You know, someone may be listening to me who can resonate with everything that I said. I believe there's at least one person who resonates with everything I said. Maybe you are dealing with the shame of not being able to meet your targets, those things that you set for yourself, and those unrealistic goals that you set, and you beat yourself up all the time, constantly, because you just can't do it. Maybe you are tired of pretending and performing and doing the most. You getting on your nerves, you get on everybody's nerves, you get on the kids' nerves. The dog don't even like you no more. They're happy when you leave, you know, and you want out. You want out. You want out. And listen, I'm not a healthcare professional. I cannot diagnose anyone, but I always would like to encourage you to seek therapy. I'd like to see everyone partake in therapy because I believe that it's God ordained. I really do. I believe that it's God ordained. And just the way He made medicine and just the way He has doctors and all these things to assist us, to help us get well, sometimes we may need to take a pill and be okay with that too. Because God has many ways to do what He does. So I'm not a doctor. I'm just a yielded vessel. I'm just a person who have lived through these things and who are experiencing these things. And I am actually navigating through them right now. in order to be whole, in order to be free. I want to be free. I want to stay free. I want to stay out of bondage. I don't want to go back into that. So it means I have to do some things differently. And that is, allowing God to mend my broken pieces because I'm broken, because I'm flawed. I'm not perfect, and I never will be. And that's okay. And so if you feel broken, if you feel like you're at your wit's end with this thing, with this whole perfection thing, you're not alone. And you don't have to be perfect for God to accept you. You really don't. You don't have to be perfect for God's love. You don't have to be perfect for God to accept you. You don't have to be a certain way, look a certain way, dress a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way. Excuse me. He loves you. I'm human. I'm human. I am human. And you are human. Let's just be humans. Let's be human. Let's love on each other. Let's be kind to one another. But more importantly, be kind to yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Stop beating yourself up for the things that aren't going right. Stop beating yourself up for, your bad habits. Don't beat yourself up. Embrace it. Call it what it is. Ask God to help you. Ask God to help you with everything because He will. He will. He wants to carry your load. The jig is up. The jig is up. God is waiting. God is calling someone. He is calling someone right now. I do believe that He's calling someone. And I know that everyone that listens to this podcast isn't a Christian. And that is not a criteria for you to listen. You don't have to be a Christian to listen to the podcast. I am a Christian. I love Jesus. That is not a secret. I am saved. That's who I am. All day, every day. I love the Lord. Not a secret. That's who I am. I just want to offer Christ to someone on today, because I just know that He's tugging at someone's heart. And today is a good day. Don't wait for a perfect time. No, there's not going to be a perfect time for salvation. Today is the day. Today is the day. Today is the day of salvation. And today is a good day. So I'm going to share scripture with you out of the book of Romans. Romans chapter 10, verse 9 through 10. I'll be reading from the NIV version of the Bible. And the scripture reads as follows. If you declare with your mouth, Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified, And it is with your mouth that you profess your faith and are saved. If you hear him knocking, if you hear him knocking, let him in. Don't wait for a perfect time. Today is a good day to give your life to the Lord. Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. If you have accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior, I would love for you to reach out and let me know. You can do so by clicking the link in the description to send a message. Listen, I am already celebrating your new life. I'm celebrating your new life. I'm celebrating your healed self. Excuse me. I'm celebrating your healed self. Remember that you're not alone. No man is an island. You're going to hear me say that all the time. We are healing and growing together. We are. Don't forget to share this episode. Don't forget to share the episode. Don't forget. And do come back for more lessons from the bitch.